Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are continuing with our conversions and our word problems in this lesson. So tonight's lesson is weight measurement. And our goal is that we're going to convert weight measurements in order to solve multi-step word problems. So we're going to see a lot of what we saw yesterday and last night. But now instead of dealing with length, we're going to be dealing with weight. So we're still going to be dealing with the metric system and the U.S. customary system. So for metric system, remember that's the international or worldwide system of measurement. What they use is called the gram. So the grams abbreviation is just a lowercase g. For our purposes, we're also going to be using the kilogram, which is kg, and the milligram, which is abbreviated with an mg. Okay, so for U.S. customary system though, their standard unit of measurement is pounds and ounces. Okay, so pounds abbreviation is actually LBS. That's how you abbreviate pounds. And ounces is abbreviated OZ. So those abbreviations are a little bit different. Okay, what you need to know about pounds and ounces is that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. A lot of times you hear pounds and ounces together when you hear about a baby being born. People might say, oh, the baby was 7 pounds, 12 ounces. But those are the two measurements that we use here in the United States. Okay, so we don't have any notes, and actually our steps are identical to what they were in the last lesson. We're going to first determine if we're using the metric system or the U.S. system by looking at all of our measurement words and underlining. Then we're going to look at the question carefully and see if the question tells us specifically what measurement we need to use, because sometimes we can choose our measurement and sometimes they tell us what they need us to use. Once we've done that, we are either going to use a table to convert. We're going to do that if we're using pounds and ounces, or we're going to use King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Once I've made my conversion, I am going to change it directly in my question, and then I'm going to solve these very difficult multi-step problems. So before we go on, I actually realized I did miss one thing. What would our table look like? So our table for this would be, if I had my pound and my ounces, well, 1 pound is equal to 16 ounces. 2 pounds is equal to 32 ounces. 3 pounds would be, I'd have to add another 16 ounces, so it's 48. And then remember, I should be able to use the pattern to help me. So if I wanted to jump all the way to 8 pounds, well, if I look at my pattern is times 16, times 16, times 16. So I could come over here and figure out what is 8 times 16. And I'm seeing 8 times 16 is 128. So that tells me 8 pounds is equal to 128 ounces. So remember, that's how we use our table when we talked about the table here. Or if it's metric, then we always can use King Henry. Okay, so let's look at some of these together. My first one looks like this. It says, Julia is baking apple pies. She will need 5 pounds of apples. The local farmer's market is selling apples for $1.80 for every 32 ounces. Julia has $10. How much money will she have left after buying the apples? Okay, so what I saw is I see 5 pounds, and then I see that they're being sold $1.80 for every 32 ounces. So I see right away I'm going to be using the US customary system, not the metric system. I also look at my question, and my question says how much money will she have left. So they're not telling me which one they want me to work with. They don't really care if I change ounces to pounds or pounds to ounces. Okay, so now I'm ready to actually do a conversion, and because it's US, I'm going to use a table to help me. I think I'm going to change the 32 ounces. So I might change the ounces to pounds. So I know 1 pound is 16 ounces, and that's just something you're going to have to memorize. 2 pounds would be 32 ounces. Oh, so I already found it. I already found what I'm looking for. I'm going to change 32 ounces to 2 pounds. Okay, so now that my measurements are the same, now I can actually just attack my word problem. So if she needs 5 pounds and they sell them in like 2 pounds, it doesn't actually say you have to buy 2 pounds at a time. It just says it's $1.80 for every 2 pounds. So I know that I'm not going to really be able to work with 2s because she needs 5. So I might figure out how much is only 1 pound going to cost. Well, if $1.80 is for 2 pounds, I might do some division and figure out how much 1 pound costs. Okay, so when I divide decimals, since there's not a decimal out here, I'm going to leave this one alone and make my barbell. 2 cannot go into 1. 2 can go into 18 9 times. 9 times 2 is 18, 0. It looks like I'm done, but remember you have to have a digit on top of every digit at the end. So 2 can fit into 0, 0 times 2 is 0. Now I can stop because every digit at the end has a number. So what I figured out was, well, if 2 pounds cost $1.80, every 1 pound costs 90 cents. Well, if she's gonna buy 5 pounds, let's figure out how much that would be. 5 pounds would be 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 9 is 45. And I'm gonna remember my loops. So 5 pounds is going to cost $4.50. But the problem says that she has $10 and they want to know how much money she's going to have left. Well, that means it sounds like I have to subtract what she has, how much she's going to spend, and remember when you subtract decimals, you line up the decimal. So let's see, 0 take away 0 is 0. 0 take away 5 is not possible, so let's come way over there and borrow. This becomes 10, but then when it's borrowed from becomes 9, and this becomes a 10. So 10 take away 5 is 5, 9 take away 4 is 5, and this is how much change she will get from her $10 bill. Okay, let's try another one. Ready? Mateo bought a 35,000 gram bag of rocks for his garden. He only used 29 kilograms. He will use the rest of the rocks for his fish aquarium and for his flower pots. If he divides the remaining rocks evenly, how many kilograms of rocks will the aquarium and flower pots get? So what numbers I saw were 35,000 grams, 29 kilograms, and then my question actually says how many kilograms will they each get. So this one, first of all, I see I'm using the metric system because grams is metric, and I see that I have to use kilograms, which means I'm going to change this one. Well, because it's metric system, I know I'm going to be using King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. So I need to change 35,000 grams to how many kilograms? So I'm going to rewrite it with a decimal at the end. Okay, so let's set up our King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And the measurements I'm using are grams is my base measurement and kilograms. So for this problem, I'm going to be going from grams to kilograms. So let's say grams to deca to hecto to kilo. So I went 1, 2, 3 to the left. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3 to the left, which gave me 35,000 grams is equal to 35 kilograms. Okay, so let's change it in our question. Okay, now let's get ready to attack this problem. Mateo bought a 35 kilogram bag of rocks for his garden. He only used 29 kilograms. Well, that seems like I could attack that. If he had 35 and he used 29, let's see. That tells me he has 6 left. Okay, but what is the question asking? He uses the rest of the rocks for his fish aquarium and for his flower pots. Okay, they don't really tell us how many flower pots. It sounds like they're just grouping them together. So if he divides the remaining rocks evenly, how many kilograms of rocks will the aquarium and the flower pots get? Well, since they're not telling us how many flower pots, I think we're leaving flower pots together. So since he has 6 left, I'm saying he's going to put 3 kilograms to his aquarium and 3 kilograms to his flower pots. And we divided them evenly. Okay, so now let's try some together. Okay, so back to our notes. Let me find my page. Okay. Here's our first problem. A pound of strawberries costs $3.20. Ron bought 56 ounces of strawberries. If he gave the cashier $15, how much change did he get back? Okay, so I see a pound means 1 pound was $3.20, 56 ounces, and then the question's talking about money. So what I see right away is we're dealing with the US system, not the metric system. And I also see that the answer is going to be in money, so they don't really care what I change. But I need pounds and ounces. I need them to be on the same. We can't have 2 different measurements. So what do I know? Well, I know 1 pound is 16 ounces. 2 pounds is 32 ounces. 3 pounds is 48 ounces. 4 pounds, and if we can't do that in our head, let's add what's another pound, is 64 ounces. Okay, now I knew what this answer is going to be, so I purposely left a gap there. But here's the problem. I'm looking for 56 ounces, and somehow it got skipped. So what do we think about 56 ounces? I know it has to be less than 4 pounds and more than 3 pounds. Well, 48 plus what's 56? Plus 8. 56 plus 8 is 64. So it looks like this 56 ounces is right in the middle of 3 and 4. So we could say 3.5. That's where sometimes they get a little tricky on these tables, is sometimes it doesn't fit perfectly. But so I know Ron bought 3.5 pounds. Okay, so once your problem has the same measurements, then you're ready just to attack it. So a pound of strawberries costs $3.20 and Ron bought 3.5 pounds. Well, that sounds like multiplication to me. So let's remember, when I multiply decimals, I don't need to line up my decimal. So I have 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Here's our placeholder. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. And 3 times 3 is 9, and that's old, so I'm not going to use that. So what do I get? Okay, well, 1, 2, 3 loops, 1, 2, 3. So I'm seeing that he spent $11.20 on his 3.5 pounds of strawberries. Well, if he gave the cashier $15 and his bill cost $11.20, let's see how much change he got back. 0 take away 0, 0. 0 take away 2 is impossible. So let's come over here and borrow. 10 take away 2 is 8. And we lined up our decimals. 4 take away 1 is 3 and nothing. So his change will be $3.80. Okay, let's try one more together. All right, this one says, a box contains 12 jars of marbles. The mass is similar to weight. It's weight that's not affected by gravity. So the mass of each jar is 4 kilograms. If jars weighing 32,000 grams are removed from the box, how many jars of marbles will be left? Okay, so I see 4 kilograms and 32,000 grams. And I also see, and first of all, I know that those are metric system. And then I see nothing in my question about which one they want me to use, grams or kilograms. They just want to know how many jars. So I could use either one. I might change the huge one to something smaller. So I might change 32,000 grams equals how many kilograms. So let's say I need to write this with a decimal. Okay, so I know if it's metric system, I'm always using King Henry. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. And for this problem, I'm doing grams to kilograms. And I'm actually moving grams to kilograms. So I moved 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3 to the left, and I get 32. Okay, so let's try this problem again. So my problem now, I can attack it. It says a box contains 12 jars of marbles. The mass of each jar is 4 kilograms. Okay, so I know right away in the box, if each jar weighs 4 kilograms and there's 12, there's 48 kilograms in the box. Okay, but then the question tells me if jars weighing 32 kilograms are removed, so they had 48 kilograms in the box and they took out 32 kilograms. So now there's only 16 kilograms left in the box. Okay, they want to know how many jars of marbles are left. Well, how many jars of marbles would make up 16? Well, if each jar weighs 4, that would be one jar equals 4. So 2 jars equals 8, 3 jars equals 12, and the 4 jars equals 16. So I know the answer must be 4 jars. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you have 2 problems to attack on your own, and then rate yourself, and we will be practicing this tomorrow morning. Have a great evening. Good night.